Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be with you tonight. I hope that you're all well. It's really an honor again to be invited to share, and I'm really excited about this new presentation tonight. And I love this format, the ability for everyone to share. So tonight my topic is business serenity. So maybe when you've seen the description, you were like, that's a bit unusual. Maybe I'm not used to seeing these two words combined together. And I like to be a bit like this. I like to create a bit of curiosity and maybe to be like, oh, well, that's unusual. So with this presentation, I'll be sharing what I mean by that and how I believe that both words end up to be actually really well balancing each other for a very nicely and powerful, sustainable model in the long term. So this approach is based on my experience as an entrepreneur and my life in general, and as a coach working with entrepreneurs, and more specifically entrepreneurs who are helping others in service businesses. So welcome to my bubbly presentation. I love like how they look like spheres, like planets, like we're discovering the universe. So before we dive in, just a word of introduction about me for those who I haven't had the pleasure to meet before. So I'm Coach Clem. I'm a certified coach, and my area of expertise is more specifically to work mainly with women who want to create their business or are growing their business, and they have the calling to help others. So really the reason why they created their business is to help others, to have an impact on other people's life. So they can be therapists, coaches, teacher, or in the education sector, wellness professionals, and other service in business. So coaching, I think, is really great because it's a very holistic approach. And I love the fact that we look at how everything is connected together. Working with my clients is always working on both the personal and the professional level. And we achieve great results for them by working on their mindset, their inner balance, getting clarity on what they need, what they want, and what their goals are, and creating the vision, the roadmap, and the strategy to reach them goals, to get there, to achieve that, to really transform their life in the long term. So that's also part of my personal journey. So I'm originally from France, as you can probably tell by my accent. I'm coming to you from the UK, where I live. And initially, my initial career was as a language teacher here. I taught languages, mainly French, and traveled the world. So really connected to this idea of being an expat. And I lived in India, I lived in Colombia, in Spain, so really in different continents. And that was a super important experience for me, and still feel like an expat at heart, you know. Then my second career switch was in business. Actually, I created my first business, which was a bilingual nursery. So there was this connection with teaching and with languages, and I really enjoyed the aspect of being my own boss and working with business partners. And that first step in business was amazing. And gradually, what I realized I wanted to do was help others also achieve that and create the life in business that they wanted to achieve. So this is how I transitioned to coaching, did a coaching training, and started my own business again as a coach. So this is just a little bit of an outlook about me, because I think it's always useful to have a little bit of a background when you're hearing about someone, and maybe understanding also why this person is sharing about this different aspect. I think is important. So moving to specifically to the topic. So I'm going to be starting with what happens when we start a project of creating our own business. Yeah. So that's what I call the genesis of the project, or the why. So I think it's really crucial to achieve and attain what I would call business serenity. And for me, when a person creates their own business, it usually starts ahead of time, you know, a long time ago. Lots of people that come to me describe that. They've always felt that calling, that vocation, you know, in the case of my clients more specifically, this calling to help others, to make a difference, to contribute and deliver their potential, the potential that they feel inside of them. So they've had that with them, accompanying them, like a little bit of a seed maybe, for a very, very long time. And the moment that they turn to coaching usually is the moment when they feel that maybe that seed could be starting to germinate, to be starting to grow, to be starting to turn into a plant and maybe a tree, etc., etc. So they feel like it's the right time now, and they're ready to explore that now. And that time is sometimes triggered by a crisis, actually. For some people, it's a burnout in their career, or almost a burnout, something that shook them up, something that made them realize that that was this calling that they didn't pay attention to. Sometimes it can be a challenge. Sometimes it can be something extremely positive that actually reminding them that, oh, I've forgotten about this. I really want to explore this. So it's usually life, that brings something on the table that enables them to remember about this this calling, that this idea, this vision. Oh yes, I've had this dream when, a while ago. So there's, for me, this idea of it's more than just a business. It's about finding your place in the world, finding meaning. Who am I, what I do, and like Gandhi said, and I really like this quote here by Gandhi, saying, happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. So definitely for me and for the clients I typically work with, it's about this. It's really more than just a business, it's just a way to make money, but it's a way to have a really holistic way to find the happiness and have this congruence between you, what's in your mind, what you talk about, and then what you do. So this is really for me a really well put into words by Gandhi. Thank you to describe what I mean with this harmony and the why I'm creating a business. And it's really interesting, because what I've realized is that the way to achieve your highest realization, your self-realization, is also the way that you're going to have the biggest impact in the world. This is also the way you're going to contribute to the highest level of your potential. And to really get there, to really connect to that, it necessitates work on a very deep level. And it's never over, it's a constant evolution, and this is the beauty. And even for me, I keep discovering more. I keep becoming aware of more limitations that then I can transcend. I think it's really an illusion to imagine or to think that it's there's going to be an end. There's going to be a moment where it's done. I'm finished. I think as long as we're alive, we keep evolving, we keep dancing with this journey of discovery and of more growth and discovering who we are more and more. And it's a beauty as well. It is creating so many possibilities, so many potential. But yeah, I really think that sometimes the mind tricks us with this idea of looking for perfection and for ideal. And specifically when you start your own business, it's very natural phenomenon, but you have this idea of having to create this perfect thing. I've got to have, get it right from the start and have it really spot on, and no mistakes are allowed. And so there's this interference, if you may, of the mind and the idea of perfection and ideal, which is completely an illusion. That is really nothing to do with the real world. We know that perfection isn't a thing. It's really not possible to achieve, and this is not even what we want to achieve. So it's like a disruption, if you want, of the mind there. So a deep work is needed. A deep work is extremely necessary and very beneficial. And I love the fact that coaching in a general manner really helps to access that. And my experience is that the deeper we go with people in coaching sessions with clients, the more important and the more spectacular the transformation and the impact for the client is. So this is really amazing, and it's not necessarily very obvious to see, what's it got to do with the business. Well, actually, if the reason why you are creating this business is to have this highest impact on people, so that you feel that you're really very helpful to others, then it is very connected to you and to your fullest potential. So you've got to access that if you want to actually reach that target, if you actually want to reach the self-realization to the highest level. And I love the fact as well that coaching is a tool that enables to actually also make connection and consider things on a very holistic way. So it's looking at your life not in a fragmented way. You are not, you don't have like a distinct personal or romantic life completely disconnected to your family life, your friends, your career, your business, your hobbies, money, etc. Everything is connected, and coaching can really enable to connect the dots, understanding the patterns that maybe we have picked up along the way, and how this pattern that we've experienced typically, let's say, with our relationship with our parents, and how we've transposed that maybe in our romantic relationship, or maybe how it's interfering actually in our business on an unconscious level. And the more we can become aware of, the more we can transcend. The more we understand, the more we transcend. It's the awareness is always the first step, and it's completely normal that we aren't aware of those patterns and limitations. And this is why having this distance, having this partner as well with the coach as a partnership, it really enables you to go further together. And I think a coach, it's very, very important for a coach to walk the talk. So a coach that isn't doing this work on themselves, I don't think he's able to be the best coach. Because as I say, I don't think the journey ever ends. So I won't pretend to you like, oh, I'm completely sorted out. I'm on top of the mountain and I'm looking at you down there and yeah, come. No, I'm on the way too. We're all climbing at different levels, and comparison is not really interesting, but we're all getting forward. We're all getting, and we're all growing. There is always more. So I apply that to myself as well, and I work with a coach. I work with a coaching supervisor as well in supervision sessions. This is really, really, really important actually. So I get helped by other people to get that perspective, and I think it's really, really difficult to actually get some perspective with yourself, and very necessary. And you can go much further like this. So your why, why do I do this? Why is this important for me? So it's of course very accurate for when you're creating your own business, but you could actually ask this question for many things and many projects, or maybe desires that you have for your life. Why is this important for you? And the beauty of that is all the answers are inside of you. You actually are the only one that can access those answers, the only one that knows and who is able to access that. And maybe there are layers that you have to go through to access and gradually have more and more access. Maybe a bit of spring cleaning to do. Spring is coming soon, so the analogy quite works here. But you already have everything you need in you, and it's always been there. Because it's so easy to have the tendency to look outside of us, to find solutions, to find ideas. And especially I found when we are in business, or when we start our business, or we're growing our business, what's the new market trend? What's the next juicy opportunity? How can I find clients? So it's really easy to get lost into what's happening outside. For example, if you're looking at marketing strategies, for example, you could be spending your entire day online, on internet, looking at different strategies, and so says it should be done this way, so says it should be done this way, etc., etc. So you're looking for things outside of you, thinking someone else has got the answer. Someone else knows what I should be doing. I don't think it works this way. I don't think there is a magic recipe. I don't think there's a from A to Z process that you have to follow, especially when it comes to a small business. If you're a solopreneur, I think all the answers are inside of you, and things should be done the way that is going to work for you. There is no magic pill or magic recipe here to follow. This is not what I believe, and I believe that also this is not what is going to bring you your fulfillment, right? And is this why you want to create your business? So if that's what you're really after, your self-realization is not going to happen this way. by looking for solutions and answers outside of you. Yeah, it can leave you very empty, running for the next goal, and keep you in a loop of ever searching, that next milestone, that next goal, that next contract, maybe your income objective, or the next when. I will be happy when I reach that. So this is why it's very, very connected for me to the idea of serenity, or to the idea of happiness, because understanding why you do things are the most important clarity that you need to have in life and in business in general. So again, this is my approach. There might be other approaches that resonates better with other people. So I don't pretend to have all the knowledge, but I'm really sharing what's been the case for me and for the people I work with. So for my clients, the reason why they want to create their own business and the genesis of the project are really, really important. And it becomes then a compass, this why, the reason, the meaning, and it enables them to create an amazing vision. And that vision of what they want to achieve, how they want to feel, what they want to experience in their daily life, becomes a reference to help them through the process, to help them grow, to help them develop. Is this decision going to bring me closer or further from the vision? If I go this way, am I aligned with my why? Am I aligned with this bigger vision? Or should I go this way? Maybe is this the way I'm going to get what I want out of life, my business, everything? So remembering and being very, very consistent with this, why I have decided to create my own business at the first place, is really, really critical. What it does as well is that it prevents you from getting lost in the doing. Everyday activity, there's so much to do. And again, you can be lost in, oh, so-and-so is doing this way. Oh, I'm looking and comparing with here and there. So the doing is extremely important, but it is a very easy way to being distracted from the being. And the why helps you to maintain you in this being while you do. And it keeps you on track, creates consistency, it grounds you. And as you can probably imagine, as a result, then you feel confident, you feel certain, there's a sense of well-being, and this is from that the serenity emerges. So it's really a consequence. It's a really funny one, I think. So moving on, we're going to explore the term business, because in our societies, and even in the age and the era, business can be associated with a rather masculine energy, I think. It can be associated with power, maybe with money, profit, capitalism, maybe potential or economic growth. It can be very, very attractive, those very words, for some people, can resonate with them, and maybe not attractive for other type of people. Typically for my clients, probably not very attractive to them. They want to help others, they want to serve, they want to maybe change the world, have an impact, make a difference. So some of the traditional values of business, if we go into stereotypes, they might not resonate necessarily with them. And that's probably also some of the reason why some of them didn't go into business before, and they didn't create the business. Oh, it's scary, it's the unknown. Maybe there's potential evil with it, that can be on the unconscious level. There can be some things like that, some limiting beliefs. Would I become a bad person if I make a lot of money? Would I lose my values, my ethics? And they are more or less unconscious fears about the business world. But it's very, very interesting to actually become aware of that if there could be any limitations there. This is why it's so crucial to work on the money mindset, for example, to making sure that there isn't a limitation, in the sense that you are very, very open to giving and also very, very open to receiving. Energetically, it's so crucial. And like a lot of words, I believe that the word business has been used a lot, and the meaning is probably somehow a bit lost or blurred, or mixed of a lot of things. So even what I recommend to people, if the word business is scary or gives them a negative reaction, is maybe change and maybe use another word, such as entrepreneur or enterprise, or maybe self-employed, or my activity. And even if you are inspired to create a new word that could describe that better for you, there's no problem. But I think the most important is what you mean, what your meaning and your definition of that word is. And for me, the notions and the ideas that are included behind this word business are actually quite masculine, and this is why I've presented here this little yin yang, because I believe of the synergies of the masculine and the feminine, and this business aspect of a rather sort of masculine energy. It's not necessarily a gender thing, but it's more of on a symbolic type of level. I think for me includes the idea of action, undertaking. So there's this idea of being in a movement. Your ideas coming to life, there's a creation, there's a giving birth to things, and it can be a very, very active process, starting with the first step that then creates a momentum that becomes something that starts to turn almost like a big wheel. So there's a machinery even to it that's very, very powerful. There's a lot of creativity as well. And especially in a small business, you can get to do so many different things, a variety of tasks, and it's extremely stimulating for the brain. For me, for example, I get to do videos, I get to do public speaking, some writing, coaching, practice languages, and administrative aspects, strategy. There's so much and so many connections, of course, of people, and there's no routine. There's never ever a day that looks like the other. So this creativity is very, very energizing for me. Absolutely a burst of potential and of energy. For me, it's also the word connected to the word freedom. So what I mean by that is the power of choice and decision that can really become super impactful in what you do. So you can explore, and all the possibilities are absolutely infinite in terms of what you can do. And this is really, 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 really open, I believe, and you can keep discovering all the things that can be possible along the way. People show it to you, clients show it to you. Oh, is that what I actually offer? It's just a vast playground or open field of possibilities that gives a lot of freedom. For me, there's also the word impact. So the potential of the reach that you can have when you have your own business is absolutely amazing. And Zoom is an amazing example, opening up so many connections in internationally. The ability of us tonight being connected from all over the world is incredible. And can you imagine how much impact that you can have thanks to that? And I think we're going to be surprised and new doors and new ways of increasing our impact. Even a small business such as myself, and I think technology and all the scientific innovations are going to keep bringing that to us, and bringing new opportunity, new routes, quickly accessing a lot more people, both locally and further away, which is absolutely amazing, because we all bring something very unique to the world and to what we do. Even if we do exactly the same work, even as a coach, I bring a different flavor to another coach, and this richness is so amazing and so complementary, so that there is so many ways available for different people to get help. And in that way as well, your impact is absolutely incredible, because you become a model, a lighthouse for other people that might potentially as well want to create their own business. If you can do it, it's like you're opening the door for them as well to consider that maybe they could be doing it as well, and they could be becoming successful. So there's this big idea of impact, and there's also for me the idea of being visible. So being visible as a business is in a way a bit scary for a lot of people, because you can feel very exposed, but it's the only way for clients to find you. Yeah. And reframing that I found really, really helpful. It's not so much about you from an egoic perspective getting clients, but it's about you being visible, being accessible for people to find you. And they want to find you because they need your help, they need your service. And you can't deliver your service if they can't find you. So this is why it's important that you show up, you make yourself visible, you explain about what you do, you educate about what service it brings, what results, what benefits people could get from working with you. And that's really, really, for me, it's completely a different frame when it comes to marketing, branding, communication. It can be really authentic, it can be really honest, it can be also very fun and interesting. So what is it that I actually do? You can also be always constantly looking at what you do, thinking about how you're progressing, what's the new modality, with the work that we do is just always sort of evolving as well, and we keep on learning new tools and new perspectives and new ways that we can talk also about what we do. And how can I then share that with others? How can I communicate that? How can I give a little bit of a glimpse of what this experience could be? So for that, for me, that this really is consistent to the idea of a kind of masculine sort of energy. And I would go even further and maybe talk about maybe the divine masculine, because I think we hear a lot about the divine feminine, which I absolutely love this concept, of course. But I really believe that we need in each of us, we need both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and the recognition that and the realization that I have had is that the part of me that works on the business and that really gets excited and energized by the business is a way a divine masculine energy in me. And I love this work by so it's by Priya Simvakumar. She's been creating this little model of yin-yang business agility, which I found absolutely amazing. So for me, the masculine would stand more in the adaptability. So that's my business creation, the process, the structures, the governance, having the leadership as well, all connected to that. While maybe the divine feminine in the synergies is going to be more on the side of the serenity that I'm going to comment just after, which is here described as stability, people, mindset, and learning. And really, you really need both to get to the top of the mountain, if that makes sense. I think the balance, the reconciliation inside of you is really what is going to enable you to access the highest realization of yourself, the highest version of yourself. So I hope that you got inspired. I found that this graphic was absolutely amazing. So moving on to serenity. Why that word? Why did I choose the word serenity? So serenity is a word that really resonates with me and resonates more and more with me. And it comes down to, for me, a difference with what we normally call happiness. And I've come to a realization that in the word happiness, in the common sort of meaning of the word happiness, we have maybe, there is a difference of the vision in the West and in the East. So in the Western culture, usually there can be maybe a little bit of a confusion with the word happiness associated maybe with exaltation, being high, partying, this sort of very, very high sort of level of emotions in a positive way. While the happiness definition of the Eastern culture is more constant, and it's more something that can be maintained, more connected to contentment and calm and peace and serenity. So my definition of happiness, if you wish, has changed in that regards, that what I've realized what I wanted was not necessarily being that high and partying on the yacht, drinking champagne every day, but rather something that would spread out through my day, more of a consistency, something that I could experience, of a peace, of a joy that's maybe not on the highest vibration level, but I could really get more and more and maintain through my day. Not wait for the Saturday night to feel like this, but really feel really great more of the time, but maybe also with a connection of a sense of calm, of a sense of contentment, of a sense of peace. Yeah. So for me, this is also what Priya describes with the yin yang, with the stability, right? There's this idea of something ongoing rather than something punctual. So we can't be dancing and cheering and screaming all the time. Maybe we can feel joy and peace and content all the time. Yeah. So so serenity has become a very, very important value for me. And I would call it my head value. So it's a bit like my North Star, my aspiration. And the more I keep that in my compass and in my highest aspiration, the more I get to experience that in my everyday life and in my business. So it's very, very personal. It's important to see maybe what word would resonate for you. Again, it might not be the same word, it might be a different word. And even more important, what is that meaning for you? What does that word mean for you, and what is the state, the sort of state that you want to achieve, the sort of experience that you want to have, how you want to feel as well can be another way for you to describe this and to discover it. So for me, it's really, really connected with a deeper work, with the mindset work, with the inner work, with the way we operate on a very deep level. And I wanted to share with you about the concept of baseline happiness. I don't know if that's something that you have heard of before. So there's been many studies and many scientists, more like on the sort of social and psychologists, scientists, been studying a lot happiness. And I recommend to you actually the course that's called Science of Happiness, that is provided by Berkeley University, and it's a completely free course that you can find on edX. It's a platform that gathers a lot of different courses, and this is 100% free, The Science of Happiness by Berkeley University. And you learn a lot actually about all the different studies and all the different things that they've been discovering. So what they've discovered, and one of the scientists that's been working with that is Sonia Loburomovsky, sorry by the pronunciation, in 2005. And she has been looking at what determines our happiness. And she has discovered that we have a genetic set point, or we call it as well a baseline happiness. So a baseline happiness level, that means that very quickly in life, we develop a sort of a baseline that is going to be our normal sort of happiness level, our standard happiness level. And this is very, very difficult to change. And what they've done is they studied, for example, people winning the lottery, or people getting married. So those type of events that maybe we would imagine that would change your level, your baseline happiness, maybe put it a bit higher. And what I've realized is that people experience a rise in their happiness level, but then about 2 years after, they come back to exactly the same level, even if they become suddenly super rich, or even if they achieve something that's changed their life. And that is also, and this is really fascinating, is also the case if something really difficult happens to you. So for example, they've been looking at people who had to be amputated, so lose an arm or leg in surgery. So, and they've realized that, so of course they're going to be going lower, but 2 years after, they're back at the same level. So this is what Sonia here describes as the genetic set points, and that really influences 50% of our happiness. This is what determines our happiness. So it's absolutely fascinating. I really recommend that you look into that. 40% of our intentional activity also have an impact on how happy we feel, of how good our well-being. So that's everything that we can do. So again, you've heard a lot probably about the importance of positivity and how this the thoughts that you have in your mind can influence a lot your life. And only 10%, so this is the little yellow part, little greenish part there, only 10% is circumstances. Only 10% of what happens to us, only 10% of circumstances actually determines our level of happiness. This is interesting, isn't it? because this is not what our mind is being telling us. No, it's been telling us, no, it's because I don't have this, or I haven't got there, or etc. It's, oh, I feel terrible because this is happening inside of me, outside of me, externally. There is this and this and this happening, right? So this is completely normal, of course. This is the sort of a default mode, like the autopilot mode, right, that we all have. So it's absolutely natural, and it's not your fault. I think it's important to emphasize that and acknowledge that. So we tend to go around in stories and in drama and to maintain and to repeat some patterns. And this is absolutely normal and due to the nature of our mind and our brain. And I love the fact, I think it's important to repeat that the illusion of the impression that external factors influence our happiness or our serenity. Nope, it's only 10%. Absolutely fascinating, isn't it? So what's been proven as well, and if you look at the Berkeley course, is that we can also change. So we can change, of course, our activities, our intentional activities, extremely important, but we can also change this genetic set point, this baseline happiness in the way we act. And this has a consequence as well on our habits, on our operating system. And for this, we need to reprogram our brain on the neurological level. So the program that I recommend, that I love working with, is called Positive Intelligence. And it's a program that really enables to do that, to really reprogram and regrow certain neurological pathways that actually aren't really active in your brain. So you really need to reframe completely the way the brain works, using it differently. And in my experience, it's been the foundation of my happiness, bringing more serenity to my life. And it required change. It required changes, practice, consistency. It's extremely important. But it's worth it. Look at this chart, you know, can you imagine how much benefit you would get, how much transformation you would get from that? So, and if you don't change your operating system, you will not be able to access the deepest changes. And so you won't be able to get the highest transformation for your life and your business. And it's been really consistent with my experience personally, in my personal life, in my business, and also as a coach helping others. So it doesn't mean I don't get tired or I don't face challenges. I don't have ups and downs. You know, I wouldn't be human if I didn't. I do, and everyone does. But there is now in my life and in my experience an underlying strength, something very strong, very stable. And I love the fact that in the other graph, we had this word stability, because this is really how it feels. It's a foundation that secures me, that supports me. And I know that if, you know, little interference happen, I know they're only on the surface, you know, and they're not going to bother me. They're not going to trigger me on the deepest level, but I know they'll be past, you know, so I'm able to see the big picture. I feel strong, I feel solid. I'm able to get perspective. I'm able to be a lot more resilient. And I sort of know what's important as well, because I know my why. I know why I do things. And nothing can take that away from me now, because I know I have the responsibility. I know I have the power, and that feels that it's unshakable, you know, on that level, even though I still discover more and I explore more and more the serenity aspect, and I uncover more about it. It's not like it's not like the growth is over and the journey and the exploration is over. So there's always more that I discover, but this foundation is so stable and so strong, and really supports the rest of my life and personal and business. So it's never set in stone. It keeps evolving, but it's just a big support and makes a massive difference in my well-being, as you can imagine. So this becomes coming to an end. I thought I'll actually merge those two words together and create a new word, business serenity. There's double S, so it's perfect to inviting the other word to be with it just next to it. And I'm going to invite you to consider actually what success is for you, because this word for me this merge word, business serenity, really represents what success is for me. Success for me is not an end goal, but it's an ongoing experience. And what I want to experience is this business, is this masculine energy, this creation, this dynamic, everything that I bring, everything that I can do, all the impact that I can have, connected to this feminine energy, this connection, this mindset, this deep work, holistic and quite healing approach as well, this creation of this new operating system. So this is what I mean by business serenity. I hope that you got some value from this presentation. And I really believe and I really want for you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I believe that we can have it all in life and business, the money, the work-life balance, the joy, the calm, the serenity, the impact, the fulfillment. And I really believe that you can get all that you want, all that you desire. You can have it, you can get it. But it's about finding your way. So I hope you got inspired. And if you'd like to know more, don't hesitate to reach out and contact me. You can contact me through my email. You have my website here as well. And I always provide a free discovery session. So I'm going to provide the link just after I finish the presentation. If you want to book a free one-to-one discovery session, so I can get to know more a little bit about your situation, that would be amazing. Thank you. Thank you for listening.